Okay, so guys, today I was wondering what topic to start with on the pod, and for me, it comes really easy to me and naturally to me to just think of gratitude as the first thing to discuss on the podcast. So today we're talking gratitude and the power of gratitude and the power of appreciating all the things around you. So if you're new here, welcome to the Soul Garage podcast. On here we cover a lot and the incredible power into the different practices that we can do in order to improve our mental health, our mental wellness, our strength as humans, as beings, as women, as moms, as people generally. And some of the practices I'll be sharing here, or some of the stories you'll be hearing from people, are things that we can actually start training our little ones to do, right? So today we're talking about the magical power of gratitude, the strength and the beauty of practicing gratitude, and its power to positively transform you as a human being, me as someone who may have gone through something traumatic or something a bit scary. Gratitude can literally get you, like it can literally pull you out of a ditch and get you to a different headspace, a different way of thinking that's nurturing you and your mind and your body, right? So gratitude for me is like, I look at it like a superpower. I look at it like this magical superpower that anyone can get. You don't have to have received this from like some magical movie or some magical realm. It's something that we all have. It's something that we all have access to, and it just goes back to the power of appreciating, the value in appreciating. So we have a lot of reason, a lot of things to be thankful for, a lot of things to be grateful for. So for example, I've spoken here before about my personal issues with anxiety, with my health. I was diagnosed with like severe anxiety about 2 years ago, and it did not help. It did not help at all. That during that time, it was around the lockdown. So the fact that there was this disease that was going around and killing people, and like that didn't help at all. And I have a history of like a bad illness, and I thought that was back. So for me, it was really, really bad. I would get to like moments whereby I felt like I could not breathe. I felt like I was dying any moment. And it took me a while. It took me a while for me to even understand or to even know what was going on. And the only comfort I got, the only solace I felt was when I was like with a doctor. It was when I was like going to hospital. And you can imagine how many hospital trips we had to take, how many doctors we had to see, and the expense that comes with this, because that's the only place I'd feel comfortable. When we get to hospital, then I'd be fine. When we go to hospitals, if I was going to see a doctor, then I knew I was in safe hands, and I knew I wasn't going to die today. Then I knew there was a bit of hope for me. So I only got my hope in hospitals. And it took seeing a number of specialists and a number of people who are all telling me, you're fine, the tests have come out negative, you don't have this disease, it's not back. And I did not believe them, because I was literally feeling the way I felt when I got that really, really bad illness. So no one like really explained to me what was going on with me. No one really explained to me that I had a certain form of anxiety disorder until I was finally led to a specialist. He's actually a heart specialist. He's in Kampala, right opposite Hotel Triangle if you're in Kampala. He's called Dr. Idris. And when I met Dr. Idris, he literally just listened to me. I give this story, I talk about this story a lot. He was very calming. He like just gave me time. I waited my turn, and then when we got in there, all these people who when it was my turn, he just listened to me go on and on about what was going on with me, about my health, about the history, all the files I had, all these documents I was pulling out and telling him. So now they've told me I'm not sick, but I feel like this is back. I've seen this doctor, and my husband literally took me to like amazing doctors. Like we tried to find the best, like the specialists in the country who could help me. And none of them was telling me anything was wrong. Everyone was telling me the tests are fine, you're fine. But I wasn't feeling fine. I wasn't feeling healthy. And I did not even think that this could actually be just something I'm making up in my mind. It could be something I'm making up in my brain. So we get to this doctor, and as he's listening, he gave me time. I literally explained myself for a while. It could have been maybe just 15 minutes of me rambling on and explaining this and explaining this document, explaining the scans and what the doctor said and what this hospital said and what these people said and the results and how I had self-diagnosed from Dr. Google. Google was like my go-to for most of these things. Every sign I would get, I would go to Google. And there's a way Google makes things worse than they actually are. Google would like make you feel like, you're dying today, you're dying tomorrow. So most of the signs, like Google tends to like amplify things. So while I was self-diagnosing and explaining to him what was going on with me, he actually listened very patiently, and he was very kind, and he was just probing and asking me some questions. So when you go here, how do you feel? So when you do this, when does this thing come up? And when it comes, what do you do? So I was literally explaining that usually when I get like panic attacks. And when the panic attack comes, the easiest thing for me to do is like listen to the Quran. So I was telling him I have audio Quran on my phone. So if I just need to get to a quiet place. So in most cases, my husband would like be very helpful. He would tell me, okay, you go in the room. Let me take the kids. Let me just have them for a while. You go and just go do your thing, relax and take a nap. And so I'd go. And you know something? After about 30 to 45 minutes of me lying down, just closing my eyes and listening to the Quran would calm me down. It would literally calm me down. So I was explaining all these things to him, and he just asked me, have you heard of something called hypochondriasis? And I'm like, no. But I was rushing to Google to check, obviously. And he was saying, so it's like a form of anxiety disorder. It's like a disease whereby you're scared of diseases. It's like when you hear anything, you feel like you're going to die. You magnify things more than they actually are. And he was telling me my case is actually severe. That's why it manifests into me not being able to breathe. And it's actually true. I would feel like I'm not able to breathe. One time we had to leave home, I think at about 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. in the night, looking for a shot. Like I felt like when I got that shot, I'd be okay. But every time we go to hospitals, the first thing I would ask, do you have oxygen? Do you have oxygen here? Because I can't breathe. I might need support. So for me, it was like this horrible thing that was happening to me. And this doctor just sort of put it in perspective. It made sense as he was explaining. So he told me, from what I'm seeing, from what you're saying, I think you have this and this and this. And he said, I don't need to rerun these tests that have been done. And that did not sit well with me. Definitely didn't sit well with me. So he said, okay, but we will run them just for you to be comfortable. We will just rerun these tests for you to feel like, let's see what the results say. So as comfortable, we redid the tests. We literally had to like pay this huge hefty sum. But in that moment, it didn't even matter because I wanted to be fine. I wanted to confirm that I was healthy. And these things are very helpful if you get a doctor that you trust. So for me in the moment, I felt like I trusted him. I felt like he knew what he was doing because he did not try to tell me that I don't have this problem. He did not try to tell me that whatever was going on with me was something I was imagining. He actually made it clear that you have an issue. He made it clear that you have this problem, but it's a problem that has a solution. So that definitely calmed me down. And while I was explaining to him the different things that I do, the different practices, like me listening to the Quran. So he tells me to continue doing that. And then he told me, I'm not going to put you on anti-anxiety medication. You're still young to get this kind of meds. Like we give these meds to people who are like quite older, people who have like issues and they can't even start to comprehend like what's going on with them. But I like that you are on a self-discovery journey. I like that you're looking for results, but as you look for these results, you know that no one has this solution apart from the Creator. So he was telling me, whatever happens, even us doctors, we do not heal. Like God just uses us. Allah just uses us to make people feel better. So he was telling me, I'm not going to heal you. I do not heal anyone. But God just Allah just passes through me. So he's like, if Allah gives me the wisdom, I will definitely help you out. So he just made the whole process come like easy for me, right? And then he told me, just go read more about anxiety and how to get better and how to basically improve, right? So when I got home, I get into this space of, I just dove into Google and YouTube, and I just started researching about anxiety and how to heal anxiety naturally, and how to get your headspace out of all these negative feelings that you might have at a particular moment. And this is how I get into practices like gratitude. And gratitude is one of those things that kept on coming up in almost every article. Meditation and gratitude, meditation and gratitude. I then learned that I had to learn to sit with me, to like have a conversation with me, to like have a conversation with my mind. And I have one of my brothers, one of my elder brother is like so spiritual. One of my brothers is like so spiritual. He's one of those people who is like really mindful of his space. He's one person when he's like meditating, like no disturbances. He's one person who will talk about things like chakras and your chi and he talks about all this stuff. And every time he said these things while we were growing up, we literally thought, dude, like like your things are like that. Everyone is like, that one, oh yeah, well too, that one, he's that kind of person. Like those are his weird things. He's weird. He does all these things. But guess what? I was now getting into a space to be weird like him, because now when I learned that I have to sit with my mind, I have to learn to quiet my mind. And then the whole thing of me listening to the Quran and coming down made sense, because in those moments I would literally trust that me listening to the Quran is going to help me get out of this situation. And it did. And every time I've had like another attack, it comes back. I'm able to calm myself down. I'm able to like get out of it without medication. So for me, this is how I get into practicing gratitude and the power of gratitude. And it's one of the things that have been very helpful in how I think and the way I behave and the way I deal with my relationships with my kids, with my husband, with my friends, with my coworkers, like whatever it is, I learned to put gratitude in almost everything. I learned to practice gratitude. Someone just made me smile. I've learned to practice gratitude. And I started obviously where most of us start, like I'm grateful that I have this beautiful, maybe this house. I'm grateful that I have this car. I'm grateful that I have, and I got into, there's a book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. She gives like a 28-day gratitude practice and teaching you, by the time you're done with these 28 days, guys, I can tell you, you are getting deep into learning what exactly you should be grateful for, right? So when we get into this gratitude practice, it's more about things like I'm grateful that I have legs, because it could be worse. Some people do not have legs. I'm grateful that I have these eyes because it could be worse. There's people who are blind. But later I learned that this is not like necessarily a good way to think of gratitude. If that's how you're thinking of it, if that's how you're starting with it, that's fine, that's okay. But I learned from a gentleman, he's called Eckhart Tolle. He's another spiritual leader and a spiritual teacher and trainer. If you can check him out online. And when he talks about gratitude, for him it's about contemplating and thinking about these simple things in life, these moments, and just appreciating the world and the space around you as it is, right? So basically but he talks about appreciating things like the being of this cup, like the being of this mic, just appreciate that it's there and just be happy that it's there. So his is more simplified, and it makes a lot of sense, because then I'm not happy that I'm fine and someone else is not. So that's what the other practice does, that you feel like you're grateful because you have food and there's someone else in the world who doesn't have food. It brings a bit of comparison. It brings a lot of thinking like, you should be grateful that you have this because there's someone else out there who doesn't have that particular thing. But it's okay to be grateful that you have it. And also, it's okay that other people have it as well. It's okay for you to be happy and for other people to be happy as well. So it takes away that whole comparison and unnecessary competition, which many a time causes us to have lots and lots of anxiety. And these are things that social media has done, even with statistics on what the effects of Facebook and Instagram on little girls and their esteem, on people and their esteem, on people and what they have to go through in their minds and their bodies and their mental health when they get to a feed and they have to compare what people are like, what other people's lives are, and feeling horrible that they're not in that space yet, or feeling that they're not accomplished yet, right? So all these things, all these comparisons that come out are the things that are getting us to a space of, oh my goodness, like I'm not good enough, or I do not have this, I do not have that, I don't have a good car, my friend has 3, I don't have a beautiful house, my friend has 2, I don't have all these things, yet you do have a lot of things to be grateful for. So the practice of gratitude is one thing that I definitely recommend for anyone, for just a better state of well-being, for just a state of tranquility, a state of joy, a state of happiness, right? And this is also a practice that we are teaching our babies. It's something you can teach your kids, to start being grateful for the things that they have in their lives, for the things that are in your life. You are going to be grateful for things that actually make sense, things that are actually valuable, for the gift of life, for the gift of being alive today, for the gift of today, the fact that you are able to get up today and continue to work on your dreams. These are just some of the things that you should be grateful for, right? And not to say that you shouldn't be grateful for all the bliss and all the wonderful houses, no, that's not bad. It's very good. And if that's your lifestyle, do not take away from that. Like, be very grateful that you have these things. You can also continue to be grateful for the smaller things, for the simpler things in life. The fact that you're able to walk, right? The fact that you're able to go and exercise. The fact that your brain is sharp and clear-headed, and you get to have the fact that you're a role model to some people, right? The fact that you are able to prepare a wonderful meal for you, for your family, for your household, for your loved ones. The fact that you're sharp enough to make it big at this job, the fact that you're able to get these promotions, the fact that you have these wonderful fingers, they help you write, they help you hold on to things, the fact that you have these arms that allow you to hug your loved ones, the fact that you have these lips that allow you to feed and basically show love to the people around you. The whole gratitude practice is us appreciating these simple things, right? For me, I am very appreciative of things like being able to be in a headspace to learn things about spirituality and mindfulness and the joy that they bring, because for me, these are the things that have allowed me to get over this very, very bad anxiety that I've had in the past. And we are in July right now, and I think this year I've had only one attack. And even when the attack came, I was able to know what the trigger was. So this made it a bit simple for me. I don't have to rush to a doctor. I don't feel the need to rush and go, because I have put myself in that state of whereby I know what exactly I have to do to be able to get to a place of joy, to be able to have more light in my life, to be able to become calm, to get to a space whereby I don't have these attacks anymore. So it takes us taking moments to pause and just reflect on all the beauty in your life, and just reflect on the warmth that you get from all the joy in your life, the things how your heart feels, how you feel when you get to be around your loved ones, how these special moments that you don't want to take for granted. The fact that I get to record this for you today, the fact that there's like this wonderful light coming through our studio today. So just those simple things that you would otherwise overlook are very, very important. And then gratitude helps us to shift like our focus from what's wrong to what's right in our lives. So instead of me thinking every time that, oh, this is not going well for me, or this is, you tend to focus on what's good, on what you actually have and what you are aspiring to achieve, right? See it as having it. Be grateful for all these wonderful goals that you've set for yourself and that you want to achieve, and just be grateful that you get to a space whereby you feel like you have this already. And this is just using gratitude for manifesting. You're grateful for the things around you, even the things that you are aspiring or looking to get in your life. So there are just some practices that we can get into to be able to start practicing gratitude and learning how to use it. Things like counting blessings, and that's in that book, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. And counting blessings is just writing out things that you are grateful for on a daily. It could be as simple as 3 things, right? 3. If you feel like 3 is too much, start with 1. Just be grateful for one thing in your life in a particular day. Keep it at 3 because there's a lot to be grateful for. Sometimes when I start, I literally write too much in my gratitude journal. So if you're just going to like count 1 or 2 blessings, write out that one thing I am grateful for today. I'm grateful for the gift of life. I'm grateful for the gift of health. I'm grateful that I have wonderful toes. I'm grateful that I had a wonderful night. I am grateful that I get to continue to work on my dreams today. I'm grateful for my fingers that I get to write. I'm grateful for my palms. I'm grateful for my thighs, right? I'm grateful for my knees, right? Guys, just be grateful for that joint between your knee. Imagine if that wasn't there. Like, that would be tough. I have been grateful for lots of things, including my bones, like my back. Imagine if you didn't have all this flesh on your behind. How would you sit? Like, you would be sitting on bones, right? So let's just be grateful for all the things that we might tend to take for granted. And we could start with just counting your blessings. Just think about, if you're not writing, just think about it. Just be quiet, be intentional. It's just a minute of your day. Just be quiet and be very intentional about the things that you are grateful for. Just think about them, be quiet, and you'll start to dig deep. And this is a practice, I am telling you, will help you get better, will help your mental wellness, will help your attitude. And gratitude has a thing. It's like being scientifically proven. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a scientist. These are things I get off of Google and just researching. Gratitude it tends to release like happy hormones in our bodies, right? So there is like a hormone called dopamine. So dopamine is like this happy hormone, and it sounds fancy. It sounds like this, not fancy, it sounds like a drug, right? But it's a chemical that makes us feel like super happy and gets us to a place whereby we're feeling really good. So gratitude and dopamine work really, really well together. So if we feel grateful for like something, or we feel grateful for someone, then our brains are going to release this special chemical called dopamine. So it's like a quick boost of happiness. It's like a quick rush. It's like your rock boom. It's like a quick rush. Instead of energy for rock boom, it's going to be like this, or an energy drink. It's going to be like a rush of happiness going through your mind, right? So when we learn to practice gratitude, right, we are going to like feel like you've had this yummy treat. Feel like you've had, imagine if you're a kid, if it's like for a kid, that joy they feel when you buy for them that toy, like that happiness that you feel when you actually get something that you really want, something that maybe you've wanted, like a gift, like a surprise, like all that joy, your brain releases this dopamine. The more the brain releases dopamine, the happier that you feel, the happier that you get. So imagine that you have to put your body and your mind in this space whereby you're sharing. You keep releasing this joy. You keep releasing this happiness to your body, to your bloodstream, there is no way that you're not going to get rid of ailments. There is no way that you're not going to get rid of diseases and all the things that keep you unhappy. And gratitude has also been linked with our physical health, right? Because people who are actually grateful for what they have will easily get into for their bodies, for their strength, for their body parts and the beauty that they hold currently, will naturally get into exercise, will naturally get into eating right, will naturally you learn to appreciate your body more and want to keep it that way and want to keep this temple of yours in like a good hate space. So this way, in like a good physical state of mind, right? Or state of body, I should say. So this is gratitude is one practice that just overall makes our lives better. It makes our relationships better. If we're just talking about relationships, guys, imagine you have your spouse, you have your friend, you have your kids, and you're just looking out for all this negative stuff that they're doing. You're just looking out for all the bad things that they have. This is exactly what you're going to get. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the term that they use for it, but in energy terms, basically what the kind of energy you're giving off is the kind of energy you are going to receive back. So have you ever seen where you want to buy this car, or you want to get this particular, for example, like a red car, and as soon as you buy it, then you start seeing red cars all over the street. Like in your mind, you're like, where were all these cars? It's because you were not paying attention to them. And now that your mind is intentional about seeing them, then they come to you, then they're obvious to you. So this goes back to our relationships. When we expect good, if you're expecting good out of your husband, if you're expecting good out of your wife, you will start to appreciate the things that they do, however small, right? Or however huge. So gratitude helps you to get off the surface. Like you're not just seeing the gift that they have given you. You're not just seeing the good thing that they have done for you. You learn to look back. You learn to look beyond that to see or to understand to appreciate the gesture, to appreciate the thought that they have. You don't want to be the person who like brings people down. You want to be the person that people enjoy, the person who makes people laugh, the person who makes people like forget about all their worries and but this goes back to when people appreciate that kind of person. When you get to appreciate that kind of behavior, that's the kind of behavior you are attracting to you, right? It goes back to the whole law of attraction thing. The things you're giving out, the energy you're giving out is the energy you're attracting, is the thing that you are attracting. So remember, this superpower is the one that gratitude as a superpower is one of those things that are going to help brighten your day. It's one of those things that are going to help with your mental wellness. When we practice gratitude, remember, we are bringing joy not only to ourselves, but to the people around us, because then we are releasing this wonderful energy. Then our brains are releasing this dopamine, and we are generally becoming better people. We are generally becoming like more humble to our surroundings. We are appreciating our surroundings. We are grateful for all these beautiful and little things that we have around us. So today, guys, as we are concluding our journey on the power of gratitude, and this is something we will discuss a lot. It's something I know many people who practice it tend to like see a lot of benefits. So I hope we'll continue to talk about this and its power, because there's not enough we can say about it, right? So today I invite you to just take a moment and think of one thing to be grateful for. Just think of one thing to be grateful for. What is that one thing that you are when you sit and you're like, I feel truly blessed that I get to have this. So what is it? What is it that you are feeling truly blessed to have today? And I'll go first. You can always put it in the chat. And for me, I am truly, truly blessed to have my husband. And this is not to like just maybe boast or just, I'm very blessed and very thankful that I get to have a wonderful partner, that I get to have a friend in him, that I get to have someone who I trust and can rely on like fully. So for me, that's what I am grateful for. I am grateful for all the little things, the moments that we have, the the conversations that we have. Like, I am very, very grateful that I get to spend the rest of my life with my friend. So that's for me today. So please be sure to drop yours in the chat. And if you're new here, guys, please subscribe, hit the like button. It definitely helps us. It definitely helps the channel, so we get to continue to share these moments and to continue to have amazing guests for you. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.